Exercise 4C, question 5. So this is a little bit of a trickier question, because if we have a look, I've got a quadratic on the top, okay, at the 2x squared. So that's a quadratic, but I also have a quadratic on the bottom, which makes this an improper fraction, not a proper fraction. So what we've got to think is, what do I get when I divide a quadratic by a quadratic? So 2x squared plus 7x minus 6. There is a number of ways you can do this. X plus 5, x minus 4. The easiest way for me is to think a quadratic divided by a quadratic is a constant. So I'm going to have a constant. And then, obviously, I will have some kind of remainder. Now, the remainder when dividing by a quadratic must be less than a quadratic, so that will be a linear. I'm going to jump straight, though, into splitting it up into this form. Once you've done a few of them, you can get the form very easily. Now, if you prefer algebraic division, you could do the top divided by the bottom. You'd have to multiply out the bottom to do that, which would give you the constant for a and then the linear that makes up these second two fractions, which you can then split with partial fractions. But I'm going to go for it all in one. So I've got quadratic divided by quadratic is linear, and then split my remainder into the two partial fractions. So if I multiply through, I'm taking the x plus 5, x minus 4, I'm multiplying everything by it, so a will have to have both of them. Nothing to cancel. Watch the signs. B will have the x minus 4. And C will have the x plus 5. Oh, let me just fix that one. Lost the open bracket and the C. Always the problem when they look the same. Okay, so I'm going to start with x equals, actually no, yeah, let's do this one, x equals 4. Okay, so x equals 4, I get 54 on the left-hand side and 9c on the right-hand side, which tells me c equals 6. X equals minus 5, which will give me 9 on the left-hand side. We'll wipe out a and c and give me minus 9b. So b equals minus 1. Now, A, you've got a number of options. You could make x equals 0. I'm actually going to compare coefficients. So I've got 2x squared on that side, that times a. So ax squared on that side. Be careful if there's anything in front of those x's. So a must be 2. Just from comparing coefficients, but you can put in x equals 0, or as we've said, use long division to work that one out. Okay, so if I put all that together, I have 2 plus, oh, I bet that. Those of you that spotted it, well done. I was just thinking, be careful of signs, and I've lost a minus sign there. So 2 minus 1 over, let's check what it was over, x plus 5 plus 6 over x minus 4. So there's my expansion done for my partial fractions done for part A. But it is, however, asking us for now up in terms of x squared. So if we write this one down, I've got 2 minus x plus 5 to the minus 1 plus 6 lots of x minus 4 to the minus 1. So I'm going to have to expand that one and that one. Okay, so let's start with x plus 5 to the minus 1. So x plus 5 to the minus 1. And you're thinking, oh, that doesn't look like it normally does, because what we normally do is 1 plus x. So, simple fix. 5 plus x to the minus 1. Write it the other way around. Just so much nicer if your brain sees it the way it normally looks. Right, so let's check. Is that a 1? No, so I'm going to factorise out the 5 to the minus 1 to leave 1 plus x over 5 to the minus 1. Okay, so n is minus 1, x is x over 5. Don't lose track of that 5 to the minus 1, which is a fifth. So I've got 1 minus x over 5, so that's nx, plus minus 1 minus 2 over 2 x over 5 squared. Okay, so close bracket. If we multiply all that out, there's lots of nice stuff that cancels. So it's something we can do in one line to give us 1/5 minus x over 25 plus x squared over 125. Okay, so let's change to blue and look at what we're expanding for blue. So this is x minus 4 to the minus 1. So x minus 4 to the minus 1. Again, swap the order. Minus 4 plus x to the minus 1. Factorize out the minus 4. So minus 4 to the power minus 1. I'm going to put that in a bracket for now, just to make it clear that I'm putting the minus also to the power minus 1. Not so important for this one, because obviously the power minus 1 only reciprocals it. But anything with a squared element, of course, would get rid of the sign. And then I've got 1. Now we have to be careful. I'm bringing out minus 4, so I need to swap the sign. So x over 4 to the minus 1. And that's probably the most common place for mistakes to happen, is to lose that sign. So I've got minus 1 for n and minus x over 4 for my x. Off we go. So I've got minus a quarter at the front. Okay, and then I've got 1. Nx will be plus x over 4 plus minus 1 minus 2 over 2 minus x over 4 squared. Okay, work that out. It gives me a quarter, minus a quarter, minus x over 16 and minus x cubed over 64. Okay, so I've got my 2 expansions. Worth noting what my valid for is. I think it's coming up. What did we have everywhere I saw an x was x over 4. Remember, you don't need the sign, which means modulus of x is less than 4. Go back to the black one. That was what I had in the bracket. So mod x over 5 is less than 1 is mod x less than 5. So if we get asked which one of those is stricter, well, less than 4 is also less than 5, but less than 5 is not less than 4. So less than 4 will be my final answer. Okay, so let's try and put all this together again. We're going to try and keep it neat and tidy. So my expansion, I do like to label it if I've not done it for a while or it's not a follow-on. So we had a 2 minus a fifth minus x over 25 minus plus x squared over 125 plus 6 lots of the one we've just done, so that's minus a quarter minus x over 16 minus x cubed over 64. Literally stick each of those terms in your calculator. You should get 3 over 10 minus 67 over 200 x minus 407 over 4,000. You may want to just double check that one. I don't agree with the sign on the answers, and then the work solutions actually has the other sign again somewhere else. So I do check that one. I'm pretty sure that's what I get, but feel free to contradict it. It does ask what it's valid for, so we've already just discussed that. That would be mod x is less than 4. Okay, long, but accuracy is pretty key on those ones.